What's going on, everybody? Stock Planner here. Today I'm going to walk you through something that is absolutely critical if you want to survive in the stock market. We're going to discuss having a tight watch list of stocks that you know and love, and how to scan that watch list using a tool called TradingView. And we're going to use simple indicators like RSI and the MACD indicator to find setups. Some of them high probability, but some not. You never can tell. Well, last week we had a drawdown, and I lost about $3,000 selling puts. It's not a good time when the stock market's going down to sell puts. I think I'll recover because my puts are mostly out to June and January of 2027. It's not catastrophic. For the last few months, I've been making lots of money, but I don't like to give it back. Nobody does. So when you take a hit, my saying is don't panic. Go back to your processes, go back to your structure, and a downward trend or pullback is a great time to buy. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how I do that. I'm not sure if the stock market is stabilizing, so I don't want to invest a lot of money. So let's take a look at the overall market. And what I want to do when I look at the overall market, I'm looking at FinViz, by the way, is the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P, are they stabilizing? Tried to go up in the morning for the Dow, and then it came back and pulled back. It ended up higher than it started, but, it pretty much stayed the same. The NASDAQ, again, early morning, up, and a pullback, and ended up in the red. And the S&P 500, much the same. This is a great heat map, and it looks like the big boys, Apple, Nvidia, Google, are still in the red. But others, like Oracle, Palantir, Netflix, GE, Walmart, they're showing signs of recovery. This is one-day performance. You can switch this to 1 week performance. I always take a look. And there's some areas of the stock market that are doing quite well. Utilities doing quite nice. Energy, not too bad. Basic materials, some consumer defense. So just looking at this is not a die situation. The important thing of looking at a heat map and looking at the overall structure of the market is you're not trying to predict. You're just trying to observe what's happening. And you can't read too much into this, but the S&P 500, SPY, this is daily here, by the way, the daily time frame, has been on an uptrend, and it's pulled back from about a week ago. We had a big drop on Thursday, red candle on Wednesday, and Friday. It looks like there's nothing much happening. The market pretty much ended up the same as it started. Some people will see that the market has stabilized. The candles are not as long as they were before. Others will take a wait and see attitude. Same chart as you've seen in FinViz. This time it's TradingView. It's a free tool. It's a charting package. This time on this tool, I have the zigzag indicator, which perfectly maps the tops and bottoms of the market and the reversals. But it does that by looking at forward data and repaints itself. You can see it predicts the tops and bottoms perfectly, and then it can take the trend in between. That's what a swing trader does. But right now here, the zigzag doesn't really know what it's doing, and it's waiting to get the perfect data, and then it repaints itself. So that's what you can't trade with it, but you can use it to kind of pick your indicators that work for you. For instance, this is at the top, and the RSI is almost at it's 70. These are bottoms. And if you use the RSI as an indicator, you'll have something there, and something here. So maybe RSI could predict the reversals. So that's what I use the zigzag for. I use it to to calibrate and see if my other indicators are working quite nicely. And you can see that the MACD is not quite working so good for this. And neither is the buy crossover, not working so good. Again, let's observe. The RSI is nearly at its 30. Maybe it's in its 48. Right? Is it predicting a reversal? I do think that the S&P 500 has stabilized from its erratic behavior on Thursday. All right, let's go to TradingView, and I'll show you exactly what I'm looking at when I go ahead and set my watch list and my scanner criteria. This happens to be looking at the small beginner as a watch list. I think it says Trump focus. Yeah, Trump focus. Things that based on the politics, these stocks should do pretty well in the next 1 or 2 years. Microsoft for A&I, defense, Lockheed Martin, Google, AI again, Honeywell, Tesla, space, robotics, AMD chips, NVIDIA chips, crypto. And you can set these watch lists. And the blue color here is, I use blue for all my watch lists. And so I can go ahead and use every stock in all my watch lists combined by just choosing blue color or aqua color. Anyway, we're looking at a weekly chart. Each bar is a week's worth of data. We're swing traders. We don't day trade. We don't want to look at the charts every single day. And we can see some things here. That's fairly important. This indicator is a zigzag indicator. You can see it. It's perfectly plotting the tops and bottoms of the market. And then we can take that trend in between and make tons of money. The only problem with that indicator is that it uses future data to paint these little lines. And we don't have that advantage of waiting to the future data to be perfect. We have to rely on indicators that do not repaint itself. Zigzag repaints it. But the reason why I use it is because I can go ahead and set my support and my resistance very well. And I always look to see if the zigzag does not know what it's doing. That's usually time for reversal. Okay. And so I can find other indicators that would give me an indication of that a reversal is going to occur, or that we are in a trend. And a trending indicator that I use is MACD. It's very popular. A lot of people use it. And when you have a crossover, you got that trend indicator, and then you get a crossover again, the trend is over. It's an easy indicator to have programmed, and you can set alerts. Very easy. And if you're not too short on your time frame, I mean, this indicator works great on the monthly and the weekly, and somewhat on the daily. But if you go down to hours and minutes, there's no telling what the market's going to do at those short time frames. You can use them, but the reliability that I require, because I trade puts and credit spreads 3 to 4 months out, especially in this market. I don't want to be too quick on the gun on anything. But the longer time frames work best for me. So we have a crossover for long. How's that? Something in there and something there. That works out great. And then we have for shorts, one there and one there. And that works out pretty good. So for Google, the MACD, I hope I said MACD before. The MACD indicator works quite well. Now we're going to look at the RSI. And the RSI indicator is when you have an oversold, and an overbought, oversold, below the 30 and above the 70, the reversal might happen. Well, that's sort of true there. And you have it here, but the reversal didn't have it. That's why this RSI is not so hot. And you have, so the RSI for reversals, you want it to be above or below 30, above 70 and below 30. But there's another way of using the RSI. When the RSI is above the 40 and below the 65, somewhere around that area, the trend is up. This trend is up. And then, again, it's pointing down. That's a strong indicator of momentum, and you would go short. Long, short. So sometimes when I'm looking for a long, I want it to be above 40 as one of my criteria, above 40. And if I'm scanning for stocks that are trending, I want a crossover. And I want the histogram to be above the zero line. And why do I want that? I want to sell puts. And puts, you want to get credit money, let's just say we sell a put that our strike is 275. This is a made up example, and just say we get $300 to sell that put. As long as the stock stays above 275, I'll get to keep that credit. As soon as it goes below the 275, I'm required to buy that stock at $275 a share, but I get to keep the $300. So depending on how long you go out and how far you put your strike price, the value that you get or the credit you get is dependent on time and distance. So if I was finding and using the MACD crossover, I'd sell a put and it never goes below my strike price. And that's how you make money. I'll give an example of this in just a minute. So the nice thing about TradingView is you can use a scanner on a watch list. And this is an RSI. I'm looking for uptrends, and I have not selected a watch list this time. So I'm scanning for all the stocks in the market. And my criteria is I want the weekly, the RSI, to be above 40. It's an easy thing to do. You just select it above 40. It's just very easy to set this. I want the MACD single level to be above. I want the level to be above the signal. And you get a signal. That's normal. That's a signal is when the histogram crosses the zero. So that's your level part. And so you see that I want the histogram to be above zero, and that's usually an indication of trend. And I like to see green bars. That means the momentum is strong, and when the light in color, that momentum is starting to weaken up. A lot of people will buy and sell as soon as that gets weak, but not me. I hold on, and I just threw this in. I want the target price of the stocks that I choose to be at least 10%, according to the analysts, above its current price. So that, it's got a little warm fuzzy that stock, according to the analysts, is going to go up. And these stocks can come up. All these stocks in the market, but I know nothing about them. So I can put together these little watch lists. And the watch list I showed you previously was a small beginner Trump focus. And there's no stocks that fit the criteria for the small. Well, let's go to my watch list of the 30 stocks that I really want to have forever. These are 30 stocks, and there's two that come up. One's Boeing, and you can see the support lines there, level support. And you can see this is support, and that's resistance. I'm sorry about that. And it does spend some time there, and that's where probably it's going to end up in the next few weeks, somewhere in here. So I would not buy at this level. So we're going to eliminate Boeing. It's at top of its game. And then we have Medtronic, Health Technology. This is TradingView. The analysts say buy, and it says it's going to go 13% over a year above what it's at now to 112, somewhere up in that area. That bodes well, but look what's happening here. Earnings is coming up, and this stock is probably going to react to its earnings. So I don't think I'm going to buy these trending stocks. And I want to show you one last thing. I can go ahead and select, and this is what makes TradingView so nice, is you can select from the watch list, but you can also choose to use colors. And this is where I set several of my watch lists to this aqua color. And so on this stock list, I have the big boys and some of the small timers. And then I sort the price, and depending on how much money I have, this is Delta Airlines, definitely an uptrend, currently in the green, and the RSI is below, in the 40, above the 40, and then below the 70. So it would be something I would choose, especially the big red candle. And it's a week, remember, it's 5 days, big red candle. So if I thought this was support, I could sell a put, go long. Taiwan Semiconductors, that's been a screamer, all-time highs. Are you going to buy? Should have bought here, where the RSI was below the 30. And you should have bought here when the MACD had a crossover. You may have sold that and you would have regretted, but you know, that's a great deal of profit between. And on this one, I didn't go short, but I was thinking about going short right here, and I would have lost. So I haven't had any luck with that watch list. Let's build another watch list. This is RSI reversal. The RSI is below the 30 or above, well, in this case, just below the 30, because I'm looking for longs, so I'm not looking for shorts. And what's the criteria for that? I want the RSI for the week to be below 40. I want the MACD level to be below 30. In other words, below zero. Below zero. In other words, I want to see some red. And then I'm still looking for longs, so I put that 10% above the current price, above the target price. So I'm looking for lows. RSI is below 40, and the level is in the histogram, or the level is in a downtrend. Downtrend, I'm thinking it's going to reverse from the downtrend. I'm catching it early. But what the heck is this stock? I never heard of it. I don't know anything about it. Selecting a watch list. Let's try all my stocks. See if I get a hit on there. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Hey, I haven't traded Beyond Meat in ages, but at one time I thought it was going to go be the next great thing. Okay, don't trade that. Teladoc, Wendy's. There's Teladoc, and you got to ask yourself, is that going to reverse soon? But got earnings coming up, so maybe it'll hold off on that one. Snap. A lot of people like to trade this because it gives you good premiums. Is it reversing? I can't see it. Might wait. Soundhound. It was popular about a month ago. Cheap stock. Let's go for a little more expensive. Robinhood. A lot of people are trading that right now. I guess I'm trading it too. Shopify. A lot of people are saying that that's going to reverse real soon. We've got earnings coming up, and it's best to wait. Adobe. You're seeing a lot of people are mentioning Adobe on YouTube. I'm a fan as well. But there's too many stocks to choose from. Let's narrow it down to my 30 that I want to own forever and sell puts on, because when you sell puts, you might have to buy it. Do you have a watch list? Do you have a list of stocks that you don't mind owning forever? You should get one. That should be your assignment if you don't have one. And here we have stocks that I really do love. And I'll tell you what, I'm not the only one that's watching these 30 stocks, because I see this weekend a lot of people, gurus and YouTube creators, are mentioning these stocks. Not so much JD.com, but Robinhood, QCOM, Adobe, Visa, Microsoft. They're mentioning them all through the weekend. And here's JD.com. I've been playing this all last year. Mixed results. Earnings coming up in about 3 weeks. RSI says it should reverse. MACD is not saying anything right at the moment. It's still red histogram here. Affirm, I played it all last year. Very successful. Robinhood, I have a position in it. QCOM, great candle. That looks promising. After earnings, $140 stock. Adobe, earnings coming up. Visa and Microsoft. Which one would you choose? I've got positions in Microsoft, by the way. I don't want any more. So for me, it's going to be Affirm and QCOM. QCOM's a $140 stock. Let's look at Affirm, which is only $41, and see if we can sell put on that reasonably and get a good return. Let's move our support down to here. It's there. And you got resistance up here. I don't think we're going to find anything in the 30 range, but let's see. $30 to sell put against. If it gets down there, you're required to buy it. $40 looks good to me too. So when you sell a put, you're saying that essentially you want to go long. You're thinking the stock will go up long. And that's this area, the green area. You want the stock to be above 36, 32, assuming that you can sell a $40 put. Now at $30, we'll check $30, but at $40, your credit is $367 with only a margin of $400. So you're almost getting the same amount as your margin requirement. That's really good. The max loss is $3,600 $100, but that's if you have to buy it. You'll have to buy it at what price? If you're selling a 40 put, you have to buy it at $40. But if it goes up, say to $50, this is your win line right here. And we're out, and it expires in June of this year. I like this trade. That's a reasonable amount of credit for a cheap stock. Now remember, 367 is what you get in your pocket immediately. And we're going to rotate this down to 30, which would be our support, so-called support. Now for you cheap guys on a budget, you're required to buy this stock at $30 per share. It's currently at $50 a share. You're getting $117 just to wait. You're still out to June, and your margin's only $300. That's a good return on a $300 investment. As long as you stay above 28.83 or 29, you're going to win $117 for a $300 investment. You can't get that on a rental income, that kind of return. So you have to choose. Do you want to sell a put at 40 or 30? And you'll have to buy the stock once it crosses over that line. Expiration is a few weeks out. The RSI says we're going to reverse and go up, so you're not going to be in trouble. The MACD is still pointing down, so it's not saying anything yet. It might be early to the game, but this is one I like. So what do you think of this trade? So in closing, what I do when I need to spend some money, which I do on Tuesday when the market opens, it's closed today, President's Day, is I'll scan the overall market to see what the tone is. I'll scan my various different watch lists. I'll use simple indicators to do that scan that TradingView provides, which is the RSI and the MACD, and I'll stay disciplined. I'm a risk taker, so sometimes I'm early to the game, but also this is 4 months out. My put expires in June. That's why I like to sell puts. I control my money, and I like getting credit for waiting. I like getting credit for my time. Hey, drop me a comment. I'd like to hear from you. I also like you to subscribe, but we'll see you on the next one. Happy trading. We'll catch you on the flip. Thanks for watching.